Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 24 of my PySimpleGUI lessons. In today's video, we're going to be introducing sliders. So first, let's import PySimpleGUI, simple GUI SSG, and then let's make a layout. Today, the layout is going to be really simple. We're just going to be writing one slider, that's it. And then we can make the window, Python learning, and then the layout, the while true loop, event values equals window.read, read, and then we print the event. If event equals none, then we break, and then we close the window at the end. Okay, so let's run this. Alright, so here's the slider. You can slide the slider from 1 to 10. Yeah, so that's what this code does. Now let's talk about some of the attributes. So the first attribute is the range. Range. So range is the maximum and the minimum. The minimum goes first, so 100 to 500, let's say. And now, if we run this, the minimum will be 100 and the oh yes, so we forgot the equal sign, so sorry. Now it's 100 to 500. Yes. Alright. And then after the range, there's the key. So key, we'll be showing this next lesson more extensively. So it's just the identity for this element. And then there's the default value. Default value is when we run the code, like what the slider is at originally. Like if we write 200 here and we run this, the default value would be 200. Of course, we can still move it afterwards, but at the really start, it's set as 200. Okay. After default values, there's the resolution. Resolution is how much you can increase or decrease the slider by. So if we write 100, then you can only add or subtract 100 at a time. So 500, 400, 300, 200, and 100. Of course, we can make it smaller to say 10. And now we are able to move it by like this. And then even less, let's say 1. This way it's really fine. Yeah. So after resolution, there is the tick interval. So tick interval is basically just prints out a bunch of numbers here that shows how much the value would be at that spot. Like 400 would be here, 300, 200, and 100. Yep. We can also change this to be a bit bigger, say 150, and it goes from the top and subtracts the tick interval at a time. So 500 minus 150 would be 350, 350, then minus 150 again, it would be 200, and then if we minus 150 again, it would be all the way to 50. The minimum is 100, so we don't need to print 50. Alright, so after the tick interval, there is the orientation. Orientation, there's two values, so you can either be vertical or horizontal. I'll write it here, vertical, horizontal, and of course you can also shorten them into V and H. So vertical is this way, just like we showed, and horizontal horizontal, it's like this. Of course, you can shorten this to H, like this, and V for vertical, like this. Alright, so after orientation, we have disable number display. So display. So over here, this number right here that changes along with the slider, that's called the number display. If we disable this, let's make this true, then it will no longer be seen. These three numbers are the tick interval, not the number display, like this. And if this is false, then we will be able to see the exact values, 200, 500, 350, 100. Alright, so after the disable number display, we have the border width. So the border width is the width for the slider, not the numbers here. So it's like this. And then if we want to have a border for this whole element, we use relief. So like last time, relief has 6 different types: raised, sunken, flat, ridge, solid, and groove. So let's showcase each one. Raised. It looks like this whole element is raised. Sunken, like this, sinks below. Flat, can't really see anything anymore. Flat, ridge, so there's now a ridge. Solid, which is just a solid black line like this, and groove. Groove, looks like there's a dip in between. Alright, so after the relief, there is the size. Normally, the size is width and then height, but for slider, it's kind of different. It's height and then width. So let's prove it. Let's say 1010 at the start. So if we run this, it would be like this. We want to make this a bit wider, so now it's this one. We can change this to say 20. Then now it's a lot wider. And then if we want to change the height, we could say like 22. This way, this will be really tall. Okay, that's kind of too tall. Let's make this less, 15. Okay, reasonable size now. Okay, after the size, there is the font. So font stays the same as before. First one is the font type, and then the second value is the font size. We run this, now it's a bit bigger now. After font, there is the background color. Background color, let's say black. So now this is black. The slider is not black. Like the background of the slider is not black. And the text color changes the color of the text on here. Yeah, so like this. And after the text color, there's the pad. So like before, left, right, top, down. Not gonna go into that much detail. Tooltip. Tooltip, if you hover your mouse over it, then some text will show up. It'd be helpful, so that's why it's called tooltip. If we do this, tooltip, and then still tooltip. Alright. After the tooltip, there's visible. It's a boolean. If it's true, then we are able to see things, this element, and if this is false, this element is hidden, like this. Alright, that concludes lesson 24 of my PySimpleGUI course. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And remember, from novice to pro, work for tuition helps you grow.